Okay, we are being live streamed.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is the Waukegan Public Library Finance Committee meeting for the month of January, and it is January 19th, and it is 5:49 p.m. So let us begin with a roll call. Rebecca Solano.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Kathy Rogers.
Here.
Larry McShane, that's me, I'm here. It looks like we have a quorum, so very good. So let's get started with this meeting. What we typically do and what we'll do tonight is we're going to look at the actual versus budgeted results for the eight months ending December 31st, 2021. Do you all have this document here in your packet?
Yes.
That's what we're going to be looking at first here. Very good. Okay. So I've looked at this very closely. Everything appears to be appropriate. Anna, who is our finance director, perhaps you could give us a little summary of everything. Looks pretty expected and routine, in line with what I would expect to see. Is that an accurate assessment on my part from your perspective?
Yes, it is. Nothing out of the ordinary, but we did. Well, now it is. This is 8 months way into our fiscal year, so we should be about 66%, 67%. And if you look at the percent of budget received and used, we use 61 in total. So we're in line of what we the trend. One thing that we did that may jump out is the bottom line in the expenditures, and that's the debt service, because we pay off. Well, we make a payment in December, so that's why it says 100% in debt service. And we only we pay interest twice a year and principal once a year. So we're done for this fiscal year. So we use 100% of what was budgeted. The rest of them is in line of what we expect. So
Very good.
No surprise.
Very good. Yes, very good. Thank you, Dana. Anyone else have a question or comment about this document and what it presents and summarizes? Very good. All right. Well, let's go on then to the next document in our packet for our meeting this evening, in our packet as well. That's where it's at. This would be the monthly board check detail for the month of December 2021. I went through it closely and just have a few questions. What's this for and what's that for, sort of thing. So let me page through here real quick and see what I can find here. I circled them. Everything, by the way, everything looked predictable and within due course. Just had a few questions. So on page 4, at the top of the page, there's an item here dated 12/15 of 2021, Library Furniture International, I presume. It says furniture and fixtures, $4,398. I'm just curious what that was. Obviously was some sort of furniture for the library, but where and where was it, or what's it all about?
We are replacing the desks in the children's department. The computer desks that we use currently are hand-me-downs, and so we're getting children-friendly computer desks for the children's department. And I believe that's the down payment, and I believe that's half.
Yes, that's the down payment. That's the partial payment.
Oh, that's great. So we've been using hand-downs prior to this, but John?
A majority of the furniture in the children's department came from other libraries, including Wakanda. And so yes, the children's department furniture is in need of a refresh.
Oh, and this is designed most likely specifically for children, their, to accommodate their size and their, you know, their motion, their, you know, kind of thing.
They're actually flower petals design rather than straight desks, so they can sit in little circles, work together on projects or play video games together, whatever they choose to use the computers for.
Oh,
They're all on a
wonderful.
little. I think there's 4 or 6 per desk.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of the word ergonomic. I think that means designed for the body, so it's easy to use. So, well, that sounds wonderful. Very good. Thank you. Okay, on the bottom of page 4, same page. There is a line item of, again, of December 15th, called for the Sonatrol Great Lakes, Illinois. And it says it's for security for $750.33. I'm just wondering, obviously it's for some form of security, just wondering what that entails.
That's for our alarm system,
Mhm.
and that is for 1 quarter, $750 for 1 quarter. We pay them quarterly,
Oh.
and they monitor our alarm.
Mhm.
And that is that's a contract fee for the year. 1 quarter, but we do it for the whole year.
Oh, okay. Now this alarm, just generally speaking, it's we have more than one alarm, or is it a camera sort of thing, or door alarms, or what kind of alarm is it, or are they?
They're external alarms, and so it's basically like our security system that gets armed during certain hours of the night after the
Mhm.
library is closed, and
Mhm.
anytime the library is not open, it's alarmed. So
Oh.
it's pretty much exterior doors. I think there may be some interior doors. It does not tie into our camera system.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm just thumbing right through all this. I am now on page number 8, and this is pretty much 2/3 of the way down on the page. This line item is stated 12/21/2021. Then the number is 115290. It's to an Amalgamated Bank of Chicago for $205,000. And is that what we were talking about a little bit earlier in our other review, or is
Yeah.
this something different? Mhm.
No, that's what we talk about. That's who handles our bond.
Mhm.
So that is the principal payment, 205,000. The interest goes to the interest, but it's the principal.
Okay. So that's what that's all about then. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, paying down our bond.
Oh, okay. And I'm just paging all along here. I think that might be it on terms of my question here. Let me just see if I have anything more circled here. No, that's it. That's it. Any of our other members, finance committee members, have any questions about anything in terms of the
I
monthly
don't.
check detail?
Nope.
Rebecca, anything that stood out to you at all?
No,
Okay.
no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. All right. Well, and I did also find in our packet here for discussion here, looks like we have the Waukegan Public Library proposed budget for fiscal year 2023. And as I understand, this is being presented to us this evening to review, and then next month, following our recommendation and all, it would be forwarded to the entire board for their review. Is that a correct assessment?
That is
Yeah.
close, Larry. It would be less detail to the regular board. The whole
Oh.
board wouldn't see all the detail that the finance committee is seeing, but we wanted to show for the first time a glimpse of all the various different funds and how they break down, and of course difference in the year for fiscal 22 and proposed fiscal 23, so you can see the difference. A lot of it's relatively the same.
So it looks like we have for the budgeted for 2023. It looks like we have $100,000 more from the city. Is that accurate in our budget?
That's correct.
Okay. And then of that $100,000, of course, then some of the expenditures have changed here. Some have increased for 2023 and others have decreased. Is there any significant increase? Now, for instance, it looks like just to be, well, it looks for instance, the salaries for 2022 budgeted, there were 2,355,000, and then for proposed budget for fiscal year 2023, it's gone down a little bit, 2,329,000. So that what would account for the decrease versus any sort of a stable amount or a little bit of an increase? Fewer staff, is that what that represents?
If you look down to the bottom of the total 61,000, salary related expenses is 3,132,668 fiscal 22. That's what we budgeted. And then this fiscal 23 proposed budget is 3,128,243. So it's less than $5,000 off from what it was in years past. Now, how we put them on, that's why you're seeing the detail. Finance committee is looking at the detail. You can see that there's a lot of places where we have the opportunity, and Anna, I will let Anna speak to the forecasting concept, but essentially where we saw last year's expenses, they're kind of aligned with what this year's expenses should be. Anna, I'll let you take it away.
Very good. Thank you, John.
Yeah, we allow, again, last year when we did this budget, and to extend this year, there's lots of unknown. So last year we left, I guess, make it more flexible if we need to change in terms of personnel. This year we're very lean right now. That number that you're looking at is exactly what we have with certain positions that is for, that we anticipate needing. And I think one of the reasons is, again, this year we have lots of unknowns because we have a bargaining unit that we have to negotiate with. And one thing that did go up is in terms of percentage is health insurance. Health insurance is a bit of a challenge to estimate because we don't know the rate of the insurance until May. So May, that's past our proposed budget, but then our health insurance starts in September. So I like to look at this part as a whole, as personnel expenses. Like John said, it's the total personnel. So last year it was 3.1 million, and now we have 3.1 million again. We save in some areas, and then we not in other areas. But overall, we only have 100,000 extra from the city, so we still have to be conservative. Plus the unknown.
If I may also comment that that $3,128,243, 68% and some change of the overall operating budget. One of the things that we've been reflecting on over the past few years is that the personnel portion of the budget had crept up to some estimates up to 72%. When compared against the 4,837,000, which includes grant funds, it's actually 65%. So it's close to the threshold where we're trying to keep our budget within a reasonable amount of the overall operating budget, but not get too much, because it has a tendency to get away from you very quickly. Personnel is the most expensive part of operating a library.
Oh, of course, yes. Any of our Kathy or Rebecca, any questions so far on any of this?
Not
Comments?
for me.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And I do want to offer between now and the next board meeting for finance committee, especially if you want to schedule appointments with Anna and myself, we'd be happy to sit down with you and go through this with a fine tooth comb, not in a public meeting, but in an office where we can look at it one-on-one and really drill down and see and take your recommendations based on where you think we should be investing the extra funds. Because like Anna said, we plan on having a buffer, and that buffer allows us to do things like hiring when we can't really add positions because the budget is set. But if we had extra money in the personnel, we can create new positions with what we have left over. We try and keep very conservative in the personnel portion of the budget. I encourage board trustees, let's set up a meeting and talk about the numbers and all the questions. One of the pieces I'd like to really focus on over the next year is marketing and getting the word out. We have quite a few new things coming the way of the public, and so I want to make sure we properly market and promote those things, like our new app and like our new texting service and the new catalog that we have to offer to people. So we really want to try and boost the awareness campaigns in the community, and that will cost a little bit more money. But those are all, none of them set in stone. This is a very rough draft and can be modified very easily because Anna's amazing.
Also, budgets are only estimates because, I mean, we have to be flexible, right? If nothing else, the last 2 years show us we have a lot of changes. And I do have backups for most of the accounts. So if you have questions, you're more than welcome to come in and we can go through it in detail and, what have you.
Thank you. Right, there's no question. There's a lot of detail here, which is very, very important for the transparency, and so we know it's critical, imperative. I do appreciate your preparing all this and making it so well put here on paper for us to review. Now it does look, just generally speaking, in terms of the library materials, it looks like we had a budgeted 2022 budget for 393,250, and we're proposing 418,655 for 2022. So John, does that incorporate some of what you were saying about these additional enhanced services, that figure?
Yes, if you'll note the amount for ebooks as an example, in the previous year before the pandemic, when we had made this budget, was $53,400. Because as a result of the pandemic, we took the general, which is the books, movies, music, and we kind of merged it with the ebooks and kind of flattened to 60-40 split. But you notice a significant increase in ebooks because that is closer to what we had purchased in ebooks in the past year by joining a consortium. And again, it's closer to being in line with what we should be spending on books versus physical books, because physical books, we can spend more money, but that doesn't necessarily equate in more circulation. But our ebooks collection was significantly smaller than all of our neighboring libraries and or libraries of our size. So this is our opportunity to build back better. Not to get political, not political at all.
That's interesting. That detail is interesting. I had no idea, how our ebook collection compares to our sister libraries in the area here. That's interesting.
This year we joined a consortium called Digital Library of Illinois, which a lot of our neighboring libraries, Warren, Newport, they all buy into it, but it boosted our number of ebooks by exponentially.
So then that's like a consortium that all can use versus just a proprietary of just one library. So it's a so it's share the wealth. Yeah, Rebecca, did you say something, or Kathy? Oh, I thought I heard you say wanted to say something a minute ago. Okay. Oh, very good. Well, okay.
It's me, Anna.
Yes, Anna. Oh,
Ebook-
Anna. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
ebook
Yeah.
also include audiobooks. So that's also go under ebook. And there are some that we buy, but then there's some that is by usage, like Hoopla,
Mm-hmm.
or the electronic resources
Mm-hmm.
fall under ebook.
I see. Oh, okay. And then under the just moving along, I'm seeing we have a bit of an increase here in the adult programming. It's going from 5,000 to proposed $9,500 for 2022. That's under based on the presumption there'll be more more in-person sorts of adult programming of some sort. Is that kind of what we're thinking on that one?
Yes, I think Anna did her best to adhere to, these are all based on budget requests from those
Mhm.
various departments. So
I
the
see.
reference department had requested more money for adult programs. I think that basically is a boost because there's nothing in teens from last year or this year.
Mhm.
And because the adult department or adult reference department handles the teen programming, they would probably incorporate some of that into the teens.
Mhm. And then I do see here on page 3, under the marketing, I do see an increase from this year's budgeted to 58,500 to 80,300 for 2023, and that again is relates back to what you had said earlier, John, about the marketing, more comprehensive marketing, I presume.
It also is, if you notice, the significant less amount for printing. So we're printing fewer, shorter newsletters, but we're able to mail them to more locations. So you'll
Mhm.
note a significant increase in advertising and engagement and outreach in years past and other. So that would allow for things like bus tails and shelters, billboards in the community, maybe even radio and TV spots, depending on what we're able to really boost. But we want to make sure we're adequately proportioned to be able to pull those things off and not blow us out of the budget water.
Mhm.
So it was 58, and I guess that is roughly $25,000 increase. Give us the latitude to do more marketing.
And then one area here where it appears as though, well, we have fewer grants expected for 2023. This year we had 146,600, and for next year we're seeing 101,500 proposed. Is that with some thought that the pandemic might be hopefully be decreasing in its scope, and so there wouldn't be as much need for special kinds of grants? Is that kind of part of what's going into that computation, or not?
Partly, but
Mhm.
partly so. But the grants expense is exactly the same as the grant income, because that's the nature of the grant.
Oh, I see that now. Okay.
So far, these two, the grants, we have the literacy grant and the other grant that is, healthcare, what is it?
Healthcare Foundation of Northern Lake County, HFNLC.
Yes, those two we know for sure. The
Mhm.
rest we don't know. But with grants, the expense and the revenue is a wash,
Mhm.
because that's what grants are.
Mhm.
But
I
these,
see that now.
these
Yeah.
two are what we know for sure. We have already gotten the award for it.
Mhm. Okay.
But yes, some of the grants is decreased in amount awarded.
Mhm. All right. Just moving down to the next category here of repairs and maintenance. This year we have 48,600. Next year, 23,400 proposed. Again, I would presume that would have something to do with the thought that we'll have less to clean related to the pandemic.
Yes.
Is that kind of how that one works? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Last year we have to, well, due to various reasons, we have to hire somebody. We're actually using cleaning service
Mhm.
for cleaning, but this year we don't anticipating that need. But
Mhm.
then again, of course, it depends on
Right.
what's going to happen.
Oh, right.
But
Right.
so the decrease mainly is due to the outside cleaning services.
I see. Okay. I'm just making a few notes here as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then in terms of tech services here, the next category here looks like we have a bit of an increase. We're going from, and this would include technical equipment, computer maintenance, telephones, telephone repairs, equipment, wireless service from 34,400 this year to 50,600 for proposed for next year. Is that based on just the presumption that the costs are going to rise in these services, sort of thing? I mean, I
Well, that's
presume
only one part of it, Larry. If you go down to the total 60,000, tech services total goes from 248,400 to 291,100. We don't anticipate the costs going down in any way.
I see,
in terms of
I see.
software. So we're budgeting for new software, and we're
Mhm.
keeping the consultant. The IT Connection has done an outstanding job and has built up our IT department. So Isaac is fully staffed in IT, but we're going to keep the consultant on to help with projects and get us cleaned up to where the
Oh.
library needs to be. So
Yeah, I see that now on page 4. It continued to page 4, and yeah, I see that.
And
Well,
if you'll
then-
note, the cost of local and long distance service, for example, is another good reason why we are looking into voice over internet protocol, VoIP,
Mhm.
versus doing our phone service through long distance. Because at some point we need to modernize, and it's been about a decade since we've upgraded our phone system.
Oh, okay. Now we've had that IT, it's called what, IT services is it called, the name of the company?
IT Connection,
We've had them for about a year now, haven't we?
a little bit more, pretty much the duration of the pandemic.
Okay, a little longer than that. Okay. Well, it's good to hear that they're working out well for us. It's good to hear. All
Very good.
right, let's see what else here. Capital expenses, furniture, there's an increase there. So Anna and John, what would explain it going from $213,000 to $244,000 for proposed budget for capital expenses? There's just some equipment.
Well, if you recall, Larry, back 3 years ago, the board decided not to create a rainy day fund to fund repairs to big building projects like boilers. If one of those boilers goes out, it could cost us 6 figures. And so instead, the board decided to put $150,000 into capital expenditures. It's kind of a catch-all. Budgeting for any unknown repairs, that also is a bit of a buffer. So we added the additional monies from the city to that buffer category so that we could plug it away into repairs to elevators or repairs to building if necessary, but also have the flexibility to transfer that money elsewhere in the budget.
I see. All
But a little bit
right.
less in fixtures and furniture, a little bit less in equipment leases. And then the additional budget, the amount kind of builds our buffer for building repairs. And also, again, the possibility of buying a new library van is definitely relevant prevalence. We need to make sure that there's extra funds for that expense.
Thank you. So then we see total expenses, $4,772,948. And again, a little bit of an increase. But we have more income coming in, $100,000, which we've talked about, reference to the first of this meeting, at the first of this discussion, going to $4,837,148. So a bit of an increase. But that appears to be not out of line at all, in my opinion. What about, I mean, am I correct in that? I mean, it appears to be within reason.
It's roughly the $100,000 additional
Right.
from the city minus about the 40,000 that we'll be missing in grants from those grants being reduced,
Hmm.
going from 70 down to 50. Correct me if I'm wrong, Anna. That may.
No, that's correct. And please remember, a budget is an estimate.
Hmm.
We do our best estimate, and so we know how much to request, and so that is our guideline. But once in a while, not often, once in a while, certain area may spend more. There's nothing. I mean, quite obvious with the cleaning service we had to do when we have the COVID. That that year, if you recall, our cleaning services, our building maintenance, we all shut up. But that's what we have to do to keep everybody safe. So that's what we will do.
Hmm. Very good. All right. So regarding this this proposed budget for 2023, it appears to me we don't really need to motion this to go forward to the board tonight. We'll discuss it more at our next meeting again. This is just sort of like a preview at this point. Is that right? Am I correct on that?
Correct. For the finance committee, and additionally, if you wanted to schedule an additional finance committee meeting, we can make that happen prior to the next finance committee
I understand.
meeting. So,
Kathy, what do you think? Would you want to have further discussion on this with John and the staff?
Possibly,
Mm-hmm.
possibly. But yeah, I think this budget it seems to be very well prepared.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't know, Anna, did you do all this, or did you and John do it together?
We do it together.
You guys seem to have a figure on just about your finger on every expense, and so I think it's done pretty well. I haven't looked it over thoroughly, looked at some of the, obvious things, and it looks like it's done very well and seems very logical.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, that is my perception of it too. My analysis of it. It looks like it's done very, very appropriately, very closely, very, very well done. Of course, there's a lot there, and so I would like to have a chance just to have a bit of a like you're saying, Kathy. I think it's appropriate just to have a follow-up meeting, just to take a closer look at it, and just because from us it would go to the board, so the total board. So well, when is I presume we would want to have some kind of an online Zoom at this point, given the state of affairs and with the pandemic and all.
We can do that. Again, the goal, Mr. Chairman, was to get the information to the committee a month in advance before a decision would be necessary. So this is a bigger thing, and I wanted to make sure y'all had it. Thank you, Anna, for putting it all together.
Thank you, Anna.
And so if you want to have meetings outside of this meeting, yes, just reach out to Anna and myself. We'll get it on the books to sit down with each trustee individually. If you want a special meeting, we can arrange that, but I propose then we have our regular finance committee meeting and go through this and make any recommended changes, and then send the remaining budget to the board, the full board, pending any changes you recommend.
So then we will have an opportunity to discuss this, take one more look at it next month at our finance meeting before, and then based upon what we decide at that finance meeting, then most very well may go to the board for final approval, or for review and their approval, put it that way.
That's correct, sure.
Okay, so okay, so where did Rebecca go? She went.
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Okay, you disappeared. I thought, oh my word, where did she go?
No,
so Rebecca,
I'm here. I just turned off my video.
Oh, okay, all right, all right. So with that, what do you think? Would you like to have some further discussion with John and Anna on this?
Yeah, definitely. I have a couple questions, but I think as John proposed, we could just have a quick meeting individually,
Mhm.
and I'll just have a couple questions and clarifying and
Yeah.
then bring it to the regular board meeting.
Okay, I agree with that. So then what I'll do then, it sounds from consensus here, we'll just leave it up to each of us to contact John and schedule a one-on-one with John and probably on Anna too. And for further discussion, question, just a little follow-up, a little more detail. And then we'll look at it again next month at our finance meeting and then decide, where to go from there with it. Does that sound reasonable? Okay, very good. Okay, very good. All right, well, that's the discussion of the budget then for this evening. Now, I would like to have a motion to take the monthly board check detail for December 2021 to our board for their review and well, telling them what we've approved it for them to review for their final decision on that. So is there a motion to approve the monthly board check details presented to us for December 2021 to forward on to the board for their final review tonight at our meeting?
I so move.
Okay, is there a second? I will second. Okay, Rebecca. Okay, we'll let you'll be the official seconder. Okay, all right. All in favor? Kathy,
Aye.
Rebecca. All right. Larry, aye. All right. Okay, very good. Motion passed. All right, very good. And yeah, very good. Okay, well, that's that then for our meeting tonight, and we're shortly scheduled to be on our board meeting at 6:30. So we have about 3 or 4 minutes left before that one. So
Get a cup of coffee or a glass of water and off to the races. Thank you, Mr.
we're off
Chairman.
to the races. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'll at this point then, motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, is there a second? I'll second that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.